Alright, today guys, I'm going to show you how to do a little clutch maintenance on the XP900. I'll take a 800 Razor apart, same as a Ranger 800, show you how to do that. Anyway, at this time we are not able, this is February 1st, 2013, we do not have the capacity on this XP900 to take the buttons out and change the rollers yet. We're actually waiting on a tool to be made. So today's video is strictly for cleaning your primary and replacing your bearing in it that happens to go bad a good bit. So in another video, and I apologize for mixing all these videos up, hopefully you get the transition, but we'll take the pieces out of each one of them. Anyway, in one video we showed you how to take the cover off and take the cover off of it, and then we showed you in the video how to take it apart with the spider nut tool and the spider tool. So now we're back in the shop, got everything loose. So the first thing we're going to do is take our spider off, set it to the side. We're going to take our spacer off and then slide up the movable sheave, and then that leaves us with the bearing and 2 thrust washers. Again, just to do the date of all this, we're planning on selling these, so by the time you guys are reading this, maybe 2 years from today, February 1st, 2013. But nonetheless, operation's same whether you get this from us or Polaris. So you're going to take your bearing out and your thrust washers. If you are just cleaning, you'll want to clean this good. Use whatever method, sometimes use car cleaner, whatever it was, clean outside. If you want to, this is just decent advice, these are come greased from Polaris, you just replace it. This is my own. I'm taking just a little bit of wheel bearing grease and I'm going to wipe around in it. It's not dry, yours may be dry, and you do not want any excess coming out. Okay, so if you're just doing cleaning, this is what you'll do. If you're replacing it, you'll just take Polaris's bearing and 2 new thrust washers. Now also, you want to clean this sheave up good, the bearing surface. You'll want to check it. Polaris has a spec with a set of calipers. I'm not going to give you that. I suggest you get a manual, updated manual for your model and check it. I can do a visual on mine and I'm good. I got the excess grease off. Now I'm going to put my thrust washer back on. If you got a new one, put it on. Put your bearing back on. Clean your spacer. I've cleaned mine yesterday, actually part of another video. So I got it all cleaned up. Put your second thrust washer on. I cleaned the threads yesterday on this with the old Loctite. I cleaned that up real good. So now we got our thrust washer, our bearing, our thrust washer. Like I said, after you clean inside and out, whatever it takes to get your spacer cleaned up, put it back on. You're also going to want to look in your movable sheave. There's a bushing in here. Polaris says if there's more brass showing than gray, then you need to replace it. As of today, we cannot replace this bushing ourselves either. We don't have the tools today. But if you need to do that with us today, you just have to get a new one. But again, these videos are more or less for limited to changing this bearing and cleaning it up. Okay? So then we basically go back with it, and now we're back to the spider with the rollers. As I said earlier, as of today, I don't have the tools to replace the rollers. Mine were kind of stiff. You do not want to grease these because then it collects dust. These rollers are a 2-piece design. There's a bushing in them and they roll on a pin. So I took some carburetor cleaner and cleaned mine out. I ain't gonna say that's the best way to do it. It's just a way. And now mine are rolling freely once again. I don't have any flat spots on them. So mine's cleaned up and ready to go back on. Now, if you were going to go directly to putting this back on with your spider tool to tighten it back up, this would be the time to use some red thread locker. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it in my threads in my spider. Now at this point, it's probably where this video is going to end, and the one where I disassembled and assembled, I did another day, picks back up. I remember there was my X and my black mark that I originally done. Go back together. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and do this by hand till it bottoms out. And then I'm going to go put it back on my tool and use my spider tool and tighten it up. Okay, I went and torqued my spider down, put my spider nut tool on, or spider nut on. Now I'm going to put the washer back. Okay, then we're going to take our clutch spring, and our X is on the spider right here. The X was on here. We marked it before, lined all that up. And I'm going to take my clutch cover with the X on it and line it up back with all of that. You also want to, I'm going to do it right now, is clean the inside of this cover out. It's got a little bush in here. You want to get the dust and dirt out of it, and again you want to inspect it as well for any uneven wear. Okay, our X, and we're going to pull this up. Let's put all our bolts in. Alright, we'll get these bolts started. Just get it started where you can get down there evenly. Check that service manual for your year model, because they change this torque spec. And I'm not going to tell you what I do. You might actually see what I do. But you better torque these to make Polaris spec. Check that service manual for that. And lastly, you're going to take a clean rag. I usually use a little carver cleaner because it doesn't leave a residue. And I'm going to clean out on the belt surface and get all my greasy fingerprints and any oil or anything that I left behind in this process off of it. And as you see, we got a little dirty rag and one complete serviced primary, and that amount of little slack on your bearing is normal. If you guys have any questions, please call me. I know chopping these videos up from day to day to day just to keep them doing more than one video may be a little confusing, so if I leave something out in any of this through the editing process, like I said, just give me a call. I'll be glad to help. Thanks.